So today let us move on to the actual syllabus, that is random variables. So you know what is probability, what is sample space. Now, a random variable. So this random variable means okay. Notes, I think I already shared it. You can later collect it or read it. So random variable means in a random experiment, if a real variable is associated with every outcome, then we call it as a random variable. So, suppose what I can say, tossing of a coin, if you consider, then the sample space, yes, it is H and T. Now, if you assign a real value to each of these outcomes, for each of the outcomes of this experiment, if you assign a real value, then that is called as a random variable. We call it as a random variable, or we call it as a stochastic variable. Assigning a real value to each outcome of a random experiment is called as a random variable or a stochastic variable. Usually these random variables are denoted by capital X, capital Y, and capital Z. Okay. And for one sample space, you can assign any number of random variables. It is not that for every sample space there will be only one random variable. We'll see the example. For one sample space, you can assign any number of random variables. Okay, and I'll give an example better. Suppose when you toss this coin 2 times, I'll consider tossing of a coin, or 2 coins are tossed, you can consider, say, or tossing of a coin 2 times. If you toss a coin 2 times, can you tell me what will be your sample space?
Head, head.
Yes.
Head, tail, tail, head, tail, tail.
Good. So these are your outcomes, right? Head, H, that is head and head, or you may get head and then tail, or first tail and then head, and both tails may appear. So these are the total possibilities of the random experiment of tossing 2 coins, or 1 coin is tossed 2 times. Okay. Now, suppose I say X, the random variable X is number of heads appearing. Number of heads appearing. So the number of heads that appear means, what all we'll say now. For each of the outcomes here, we'll write it as X of HH. For the outcome HH, you are assigning this random variable X. Now what does this X is? It is the number of heads appearing. Now how many heads are there in this? 2, right? There are 2 heads. Now, yes. If I go for the next, X of HT, in the next outcome, how many heads are there? Only 1. Yes. And in the next, X of TH,
1.
1 again. And x of tt?
0.
0. No heads. No heads are there. We have 0. So what we have done? For each outcome, we have assigned a random variable. We have assigned a real value. A real value is assigned to each outcome of the random experiment. Then that is called as the random variable, or we call it as the stochastic variable. So this is how we assign the real values. And if you take the set of these values, the set of all values that a random variable takes, we call it as the range of that random variable. Range of x. Range of the random variable x means it is the set of, so I'll enclose it in flower bracket. It is the set of all values that x takes. Which all values that x is taking here? Which are the different values that x is taking?
0, 1, 2.
Yes, 0, 1, 2. It is a set. We need not repeat the value, you know it. Okay. So the different values that x takes is called as the range of x. And for this particular experiment, the range is 0, 1, and 2. So this is how we assign the real values for each of the outcomes of an experiment. Now this is one random variable. I can say y as another random variable for the same experiment and say it as number of tails appearing. Number of tails appearing. Right? Again, you'll get the same as you have got y of hh. What is y of hh? When I say tails appearing now.
0.
0. There are no tails. When two heads appear, there are no tails. That is 0, right? Then y of ht?
1.
1. Y of th? 1 again? 1. Y of pt?
2.
2. Okay? And again you can see what is the range. Range is same here. Range of x is same as range it is actually range of y. It is also 0, 1, and 2. But not always. Not always. For this case, we have got the same range. So this is how we can see that for one sample space, you can assign any number of random variables. Okay. Next, now, in these random variables, there are two types. The random variables are of two types. One is discrete random variable. The other one is continuous random variable. Discrete random variable. The other one is continuous random variable. Now, what is this discrete random variable and what is the continuous random variable? Suppose the random variable takes finite or countably infinite values. Suppose the random variable takes finite or countably infinite values. I hope you can understand this. Then the random variable is called as a discrete random variable. Okay. So when I say tossing of a coin and you are counting the number of heads that appear. You toss a coin and you say that the number of heads appearing are counted. So counting means it is finite. Okay. So and why countably infinite means this experiment of tossing of a coin, you can perform it infinite number of times. But though it is infinite, it is countable. So such we call them as countably, sorry, not infinite. Yes, countably infinite values. Okay. Though you do it infinite number of times, though it has infinite number of values, they are countable. Such values are called, or such random variables are called as discrete random variables. And usually the counting problems comes under this discrete random variable. Whenever you count something, those experiments comes under the discrete random variable. Now, continuous random variable means the random variable that takes infinite values, that takes infinite number of values, or we can say it is non-countable infinite, non-countable infinite values. Then such are called as continuous random variables. Suppose you go for, usually here, measuring problems, we say. Measuring problems comes under the continuous random variables. So suppose you are measuring 1 kg of sugar. Suppose you are measuring 1 kg of sugar, then you may not get it exactly 1 kg every time. One time you may get it 1.01, next time you may get 1.001 kg, one time you may get 1.0012. So there are uncountable infinite number of values here. So such random variables, we call them as continuous random variables. Is it clear what is continuous and what is discrete? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Discrete means, just remember, you should have a finite number of values, and continuous means it is infinite number of values. So this is about your discrete random variable and continuous random variable. Now we have in this distributions. We are going to study discrete distributions as well as continuous distributions. We will be studying 2 discrete distributions and 2 continuous distributions. Now, before moving on to that, let me go for discrete probability function. Discrete probability function. So, if for each value, I'll just write it, if for each value xi of a discrete random variable, of a discrete random variable x, capital X, we assign a real number p of x, or as p of xi will call sometimes, p of xi, such that first property, p of xi is greater than or equal to 0. Second property, summation I p of xi is equal to 1. Summation I p of xi is equal to 1. Then this function is called as a discrete probability function. Then p of xi is called a discrete probability function. Okay, for each value xi of a discrete random variable. So this is our xi. So the range of x, whatever written, this becomes our xi. Okay, xi means the different values that x takes, we call them as xi. So here, if for each value of xi of a discrete random variable, we assign again a real number p of x. It is nothing but the probability there. Probability of xi, such that p of xi is greater than or equal to 0. Each of the probabilities is positive, and sum of all the probabilities is 1 here. Probability of xi, that is, if you take the sum of all these probabilities, probability that 0 appears, probability of 1, probability of 2, sum of all these must be equal to 1. Then such a function p of xi is called as a discrete probability function. I can give an example again. If you take that example of tossing of 2 coins there, you got HH. I have written it already. I'll just tell you what you have written. The range of x as the range of x you got 0, 1 and 2, where x is number of heads appearing are written. Number of heads appearing. Experiment sample space is this HH, HT, TH and TT. This is your sample space. The random variable x is number of heads appearing. Then the random variable will take these values. Now, what is the probability that x equal to 0? Or directly you can write p of 0. P of xi, that is probability that it is xi is 0 here. Or you can write probability that x will take the value 0. What is it? What's the probability of 0? The defined probability yesterday. What is probability of 0? What's the probability of 0?
1 by 3.
1 by 3.
1 by 3. I will just write here once again. What is x of HH? We are written it up. What is x of HH? X is number of heads appearing. This is your sample space. We are assigning real value to each of these outcomes with this random variable x. What is x of HH?
1 by 4.
2.
I'm not talking about probability now. We are just, yes. How many heads? X stands for number of heads. For this particular outcome, for the first outcome, what is the value of the random variable? It is 2. X of HT.
1.
X of TH.
1.
1.
X of TT.
0.
0.
Out of this, we have written here X. The outcomes, possible outcomes are 0, 1 and 2. Okay. So, now can you say what is probability of 0?
1 by 4.
Yes. Out of 4 times, 0 has appeared only once. That is 1 by 4. Don't look at this range. Okay. So, look at these possibilities. Out of 4 times, 0 has, there are 4 outcomes, right? There are 4 outcomes. For each of these outcomes, we are assigning the values. So, for each outcome, we are assigning values. Some numbers may be repeated. So, you have to take how many possibilities are there totally. What is probability that x equal to 1?
Two by 4.
Yes.
2 by 4.
2 by 2 times 1 has appeared out of the total 4 times. Then probability that x is equal to 2, or you can write p of 2.
1 by 4.
Okay. Is 1 by 4. So you have given values assigning a real value p of x, okay, such that p of xi is greater than or equal to 0. That we need to verify whether each of the probabilities are positive or not. So got all the values are positive, greater than 0. Second one tells summation I p of xi must be equal to 1. If you take the sum of all this, is it 1 or not? It has to be 1, otherwise somewhere you have gone wrong. It has to give you 1, otherwise somewhere you will be wrong there. Sum of all the probabilities will be always equal to 1. So such functions are called as discrete probability functions. Okay. So this is about the discrete just an example for discrete probability function. Next we have discrete probability distribution. Discrete probability distribution. Now it is nothing but the set of all xi and p of xi. The set of all xi and p of xi, we call it as the probability distribution. So what we'll write, xi I'll write, p of xi I'll write. So what are the values of xi for the same example, the above example? What are the values of xi? Xi means which values?
0, 1, 2.
Yes.
0, 1, 2.
Yes. The different values that the random variable takes. Okay. So these are our xi. It is 0, 1, and 2. Now what are their corresponding probabilities? What is the probability that x equal to 0? We have just done it. Probability that x equal to 0. We have got 1 by 4. Probability that x equal to 1 is 2 by 4. Probability that x equal to 2 is again 1 by 4. So this table, it is nothing but the probability distribution table, we call it as. Because the random variable discrete, so we'll say that it is a discrete probability distribution. It is the set of the values of xi and p of xi. That is called as discrete probability distribution. Okay. Next comes cumulative distribution. Cumulative probability distribution. You have studied all these in statistics. So cumulative distribution means the distribution function f of x. The distribution function capital F of x, usually it is denoted by, defined by probability that x is less than or equal to x. Capital X is less than or equal to small x. Small x stands for the different values that x will take. Okay. So probability that x is less than or equal to x, that will give us the cumulative function, or can say it is summation I taking the value from 1 to x of p of xi. Okay. So this is how we define the cumulative distribution function. So suppose I say f of 1. Suppose I say f of 1, then what will you write? It is the probability that x is less than or equal to 1. If I write the cumulative distribution f of 1, it is nothing but probability that the random variable x takes the value less than or equal to the value x here. So here x we are taken it as 1. So it is the probability that capital X will take the value less than or equal to 1. So which all values are there? Less than or equal to 1 means here
0 and 1.
0 and 1. So what we write it is p of 0 plus p of 1. Sum of all the probabilities. Probability that x is less than or equal to 1. So less than or equal to 1, we have two values, 0 and 1. We need to just add their probabilities. P of 0 is 1 by 4, P of 1 is 2 by 4. So whatever the answer is. So this will give you the cumulative distribution function. It is the sum of all the probabilities the random variable x takes until it takes the value x. Okay. Suppose you have some more values, 3, 4, 5. And if I write f of 4, then what all you have to write?
0, 1, 2, 3, 4.
0. All the values you have to take. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you put it in any other way? Of course it is right. F of 4. If I
P
say,
of
yes.
less than
It is,
or equals to 4.
you told That, okay, all right. It is probability that x is less than or equal to 4. That's what she told. It is the values, all the values you have to take 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? You have to add all those values. Can you put it in any other way?
P of 0
What
plus
is
P of 1 plus P of up to 4.
that's what, yeah,
It constitutes all the values from the sample space.
that is the usual way. This is how we do, right? This is what the definition tells. But see, what is the second axiom or the second this? What does this tell? Sum of all the probabilities is always equal to 1. Sum of all the probabilities, it is always equal to 1, right? So here, instead of adding all these, probability that x is less than or equal to 4 means you have to take all these values, right? Only leftover is 1. If you take the sum of all these, it will be 1 only. So you can write it as 1 minus probability that x is greater than 4. Is it right? Probability that x is less than or equal to 4 means you have to take all the values from 0 to 4. But we know that sum of all the probabilities is 1. So 1 minus, if you take the only one leftover value, 1 minus probability that x is greater than 4, we will get probability that x is less than or equal to 4. So that makes it simple. We'll be taking only one value. Whatever the probability of this 5 is there, it will be just P of 5. It will be just P of 5. So that way you can write the probabilities in simple way. You can understand. Otherwise, you have to add all these values. Suppose I write f of 3 here. F of 3, how will you put it? Not f of 3. I'll better go for another one. Suppose I write probability that x is greater than 2. X is greater than 2. What will you write? Greater than 2 means? You have to add all the values. Greater than 2. How many are there? Wait. Okay. Greater than 2 means which all you will add?
3, 4, 5.
3, 4, 5. Yes. You have to take 3, 4. If you put in terms of 1 minus, how will you write?
Probability of 0 and 1. 1 minus probability.
No. Tell me in terms of 1 minus. 1 minus, what will you write?
Probability of
One
x
minus
is less
P
than
of
2.
x less than equal to 2.
Yes, that equal to should come here. That I want. X is less than. See here, it is probability that x is less than or equal to 4 is there. What we wrote is 1 minus probability that x is greater than 4. Equal to is less than or equal to is there in the LHS. We left it in the RHS. Here, if it is not there in the LHS, we have to include it in the RHS. So what this equal to sign should come on either of the sides. It is greater than 2. Greater than 2 means you are leaving this 2 and taking the other values. So when you take 1 minus, that 2 has to be included. It is less than or equal to 2. Okay. So remember these things. And whenever you do probability, just remember one thing, it has to be in decimal. The value should be less than 1 only. Summation of all the probabilities is only 1. You know this property. So if you take the sum, it has to be 1 means the probability of each value of x, it has to be in fractions. It has to be less than 1 only. It lies between 0 and 1. Whatever the probability you calculate, it has to be always between 0 and 1. Probability of certain event we call, or the sample space, it is 1. Probability of impossible event, it is 0. And all other probabilities should lie between 0 and 1. They have to be positive. They should be 0, between 0 and 1 only. If you get 1 point something, 2 point, 10 point, they are all wrong. You should not get 1 point. Always your answer should be 0 point something only. Then only it is the correct answer for probability. But when you take the sum, it has to be 1. Okay. So with this here, we have the last definition, mean of this discrete probability distribution. Mean of the discrete probability distribution denoted by mu, it is given by summation xi into p of xi. Mean of the distribution, it is given by summation of xi into p of xi. So here we have written xi into p of xi. So we have written xi and p of xi. If you take the sum of the product, xi into p of xi, you have to multiply and take their sum. That will give us the mean of the distribution. And next we have variance. Variance V, it is given by summation I xi minus mu whole square into p of xi, or the other formula for variance, summation xi square into p of xi minus mu square. We studied it in your already statistics. Summation of xi square into p of xi minus mu square. That will give us the variance. And you know, standard deviation sigma is equal to root of variance. Okay, so you have to remember these formulas for mean and standard deviation of variance. Usually we go for this formula, xi square into p of xi minus mu square. So these are the formulas regarding your discrete probability distribution. In this discrete probability distribution, again, we will be finding, we will be having examples on simple examples on discrete distribution, and then we have some particular distributions, binomial distribution and Poisson distribution. Those two distributions will be studying under the discrete probability distributions. Just go through all the formulas. Tomorrow we'll do examples on this discrete probability distribution. I think time is up. We'll try to stop. Any doubts if you have, can ask me anytime. Any doubts are there in this? Unless I do examples, will not have any doubts, I hope. Tomorrow we'll do examples. Let us see then what happens. Okay. Stop now.